Welcome back to Quinte Connection. Well, joining us this week, connections from Tweed and Stirling, 2 of the 5 members of Long Range Hustle, now based in Toronto. It is Paul Brogy and Jay Foster. Paul, Jay, thank you so much for joining us.
Hello.
It's a pleasure to be here, Lindsey.
How's it going, guys? Because you're still based in Toronto, right? I mean, what's the atmosphere like as musicians right now?
Like most professions, it's kind of grim. Obviously, a huge part of our profession is playing in front of groups of people, which is not a thing.
the only thing you can't do right now.
But I actually think it's a lot of people in our industry and friends of ours are doing well with it, with like playing online and interacting with their fans and using their free time to come up with new music and stuff. So that's sort of what we're trying to do too.
How are you keeping the music out there on Instagram?
Well, we pretty much right since the start of the pandemic started, we've been playing a lot over Instagram. We started for about a month, maybe a little over a month. We were doing lunchtime live concerts. So every single day we would play a couple songs at lunch. That was a lot of fun. And then after about a month, when we realized this thing was going to run for a while, we were like, oh, learning new songs every single day at lunch was a little overwhelming. So we switched, and we're now doing like a weekly concert on Instagram every Thursday night. And that's been a really good way to sort of, keep your music happening and keep fans and audiences engaged. And I think for a lot of people who are cooped up in their house, I mean, like everyone is, and if you're used to going out to shows, it's nice that so many artists are sort of bringing the concert to you to a certain extent.
Mm-hmm.
And speaking of bringing that concert, Paul, you guys did a really nice tribute with shows you have been able to play at in festivals with the Allura Fest and other ones like that. What is some of the response you've been getting from those compilation videos where we see the rest of the band?
It's been good because they don't get a lot of airplay right now. So whenever they see AJ making funny faces in a video, people get excited, as do I. He's an electric person.
How are AJ, Mike, and Ryan doing right now?
They're holding up. AJ is playing on electric drums a lot these days, and I think Mike and Ryan are doing all right. Mike is spending a lot of time in the wood shop, and Ryan's spending a lot of time working on editing our own demos, because we're gearing up to record a new record. We should be recording it right now, actually, but like we were scheduled to be in the studio as of like right now, but all that got pushed back too. So we're gearing up to do it a different way, and mm-hmm.
Ryan's been amazing mixing and getting demos ready and things like that.
Well, our producer Ann has been rocking out to Morning Clover. What's the sound going to be like on the next phase for Long Range Hustle right now?
Oh man, it's tough to say.
Do you hear Drake's new album? Much like that.
I think we're writing songs. Last summer we did an interview with you, and you were talking about a little bit of that. We were using some more synthesizers and sort of interesting sound techniques on Town relative to Saplings, and I think we're sort of extending that a little bit, and we're sort of thinking about some of the interesting soundscapes that we can create sort of a little further
mm-hmm.
out. So I'm really excited to go back into the studio and see kind of what we can do, sort of pushing our sound forward.
Mm-hmm. I think our songwriting is getting a little bit more personal as well. So that's been an interesting move for us. I think it's getting a little bit more honest and a little bit more
introspective.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, Paul, you from Stirling and Jay from Tweed, living far away from home, but especially with COVID-19 now, how are you guys adjusting, maintaining your relationships with your family members? Any tricks you guys can pass around to us?
I call them on the weekend.
Yeah, I've been doing a lot of FaceTime, a lot of video calls, and I've found talking to my nieces and nephews, that the face filters are super fun. Like, you can make your face look really weird, and kids love that. So that's been good. I'm trying to think. my mom has written letters to a bunch of people. I think that's a really cool, like, personal touch to sit down and actually write something out and send it by mail. But yeah, I don't know.
That's really cool because, you know, everyone's talking about like the high tech ways that we use to communicate with each other in the current situation, but you know, letters still exist.
Yeah, so I've been thinking about writing a bunch of letters to some friends and family. Thinking about it.
And Anne just said a mayor that's a song title right there. All right.
Yeah, do you want to hear Morning Clover then, I guess?
Yeah, Anne says she's good with that. Thank you.
Okay, good.
Waking up, that stiffness in my arms starts to fade into a model map of scars. Kick the blinds and kill the damn alarm. I'm alive, well I'm loved and led by lucky stars. Take it easy, pull a country air. 20 months back, I'd be falling down the stairs, saving daylights, going out of style. Good for me, this time's a bit behind the time. Split my lips in vital fields and only veil my face with hollyhock and gold leaves. All good things go first inside your head, 'cause God could break your legs or break your arms instead, but probably not both. Off the beat, we're howling out the waves. When in time you turn and ask if you can stay, just as Luke waits out the judgment day. I've a choice to open up or fade away. Split my lips in vital fields and only fill my face with hollyhock and gold leaves. All good things grow first inside your head, 'cause God can break your legs or break your arms instead, but probably not both. I've been looking all over for your morning clover. I've been looking all over for your morning clover. I've been looking all over for your morning clover. For ya. Oh! I've been looking all over for your morning clover. I've been looking all over for your morning clover. I've been looking all over for your morning clover. I've been looking all over for your morning clover. I've been
Well, what a great way to end another week here on Quinte Connection. Once again, that was Long Range Hustle. Thank you so much for the wonderful music, guys. And thank you also to Wendy Warner, the Executive Director of the Trenton Memorial Hospital Foundation, and Frank Rocket from the Quinte Humane Society. I'm Lindsey Heron. See you next week.